I was standing in my kitchen last Tuesday staring at a half-empty pantry, and I asked myself a question that honestly kept me up that night. If everything went sideways tomorrow, if the supply chains locked up again, if prices doubled overnight, if the grocery stores started looking like they did back in 2020, could I feed my family with what I have right now? The honest answer was no, and that scared me, because here's the thing most people will never sit down and figure out. You do not need 50 different foods to survive. You do not need a warehouse full of freeze-dried meals or some expensive survival kit from a company trying to scare you into spending $3,000. You need 10 foods. That is it. 10 specific foods that cover your calories, your nutrition, your energy, your shelf life, and your sanity. And almost nobody is talking about this the right way. They either overcomplicate it or they leave out the most important details. Today I am going to walk you through the only 10 foods you actually need to survive long-term. And I promise you, number 7 on this list is going to change the way you think about emergency food forever. Most people completely overlook it, and it might be the single most important item in your pantry. Before we get into it, if you are the kind of person who likes being ahead of the curve, who wants to know what is coming before everyone else figures it out, subscribe right now. Hit that bell. This channel is for people who think for themselves, and I want you here for the next one too. Let us get into it. Item number 1, white rice. This is the foundation. This is where everything starts. If I could only grab one single food and nothing else, it would be white rice. Not brown rice. White rice. And there is a very specific reason for that. Brown rice has oils in the bran layer that cause it to go rancid within 6 to 12 months. White rice, stored properly, can last 25 to 30 years. That is not an exaggeration. That is documented by food storage researchers and confirmed by universities that study shelf-stable nutrition. 1 cup of dry white rice gives you over 700 calories. That is a massive caloric return for something that costs about $2 a pound at Walmart right now. I looked into this myself about 3 months ago when I started reorganizing my pantry. I bought a 50-pound bag of white long-grain rice from Costco for right around $20. $20. That is roughly 120 servings. You cannot beat that math anywhere in the grocery store. And when I sealed portions of it into Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, I essentially locked in a food source that my family can rely on for decades. Here is your practical takeaway. Buy at least 50 pounds of white rice per person in your household. Store it in 5-gallon food-grade buckets with Mylar liners and oxygen absorbers. Keep it in a cool, dark place. Basement is ideal. A closet works too. This is the single cheapest calorie insurance you will ever buy. Do not wait until prices spike again. Rice has already gone up over 15% in the last 18 months due to export restrictions from major producing countries. This is not a drill. This is math. Item number 2, dried beans. Rice and beans together form one of the most important nutritional partnerships in human history. Seriously. Entire civilizations were built on this combination, and there is hard science behind why. Rice is low in the amino acid lysine but high in methionine. Beans are the exact opposite. Put them together and you get a complete protein. That means your body can build and repair muscle, maintain organ function, and keep your immune system running even when you have no access to meat whatsoever. This is not some trendy diet hack. This is how hundreds of millions of people around the world eat every single day. Pinto beans, black beans, kidney beans, lentils, they all work. Dried beans stored in the same Mylar and oxygen absorber setup as rice will last 20+ years easily. A 1-pound bag of dried pinto beans costs about $1.50 right now and gives you roughly 11 servings. The calorie density is excellent. The fiber content keeps your digestive system functioning, and the cost is almost embarrassingly low. I spoke to a guy who runs a food bank distribution center in Texas last year. He told me something that stuck with me. He said when things get bad, the first 2 items that disappear from donation shelves are rice and beans. Not canned soup, not pasta, rice and beans. Because the people who actually understand survival food know exactly what works. Buy at least 25 to 50 pounds of dried beans per person. Mix your varieties so you do not get flavor fatigue. Store them the same way you store rice, and if you want a head start, practice cooking them now. Learn the soaking method, learn the quick boil method. You do not want to figure this out during an actual emergency. This is about being ready before you need to be. Item number 3, oats. Most people think of oatmeal as a boring breakfast food, something you eat when you are trying to lower your cholesterol. But in a survival context, oats are an absolute powerhouse that almost nobody gives enough credit to. 1 cup of dry rolled oats gives you about 300 calories, decent protein, solid fiber, and a long, slow energy release that keeps you functional for hours. Oats are also incredibly versatile. You can eat them hot as porridge. You can grind them into flour and make flatbread. You can mix them with water and honey for a quick calorie-dense snack. You can even eat them raw in a pinch if you have to. Rolled oats stored properly in sealed containers with oxygen absorbers last up to 30 years. Steel-cut oats last even longer, and the price right now is still reasonable. A large canister of old-fashioned oats at most grocery stores runs between $4 and $6 and gives you dozens of servings. I started keeping a rotation of oats in my pantry about 2 years ago. I buy the big Quaker canisters from Sam's Club, transfer them into Mylar bags, seal them up, and stack them in my storage area. It takes about 20 minutes, and I know those calories are locked in for years. The peace of mind alone is worth the effort. Here is what I want you to do. Pick up at least 20 pounds of rolled oats per person. If you have kids, this is especially important because oats are gentle on the stomach and easy to prepare. Add some honey or sugar and you have a meal that even a 5-year-old will eat without complaining. Do not overlook the simple stuff. The simple stuff is what actually saves you. Item number 4. Salt. This one is going to sound almost too basic, but if you skip salt, nothing else on this list matters. And I mean that literally. Salt is not just a flavor enhancer. Salt is essential for human survival. Your body needs sodium to regulate fluid balance, transmit nerve impulses, and maintain muscle function, including your heart. Without adequate salt intake, you can develop hyponatremia, which causes confusion, seizures, and in extreme cases, death. This is not dramatic, this is medical fact. But here is the part that most preppers and survival planners forget. Salt is also your primary food preservation tool. Before refrigeration existed, salt is how humanity kept meat, fish, and vegetables from spoiling. You can salt cure meat that will last for months without any refrigeration at all. You can ferment vegetables with salt to create nutrient-dense foods like sauerkraut. You can use salt to preserve eggs. The applications are endless, and the best part is salt never expires. Ever. It is a mineral. It does not go bad. A box of iodized salt from the grocery store costs less than $1 and will sit in your pantry for the rest of your life without losing any effectiveness. I keep about 25 pounds of salt in my storage. I have regular iodized table salt for cooking and eating. I have coarse kosher salt for curing and preserving. And I have a few bags of plain rock salt for other uses. The total cost was under $15. That is nothing for something this critical. Buy more salt than you think you need. Store it in a dry location. It does not need mylar or oxygen absorbers. Just keep it dry. And understand that in a real long-term scenario, salt becomes a trading commodity. People will want it, people will need it, and you will have it. This is the kind of quiet advantage that separates people who are truly prepared from people who just think they are. Item number 5. Peanut butter. Now we are getting into the calorie-dense survival foods that also happen to taste good. And that matters more than people realize. Peanut butter is one of the most efficient calorie delivery systems you can buy at a regular grocery store. 2 tablespoons give you roughly 200 calories, 7 grams of protein, and 16 grams of healthy fat. Fat is critical in a survival situation because it provides more than twice the caloric energy per gram compared to carbohydrates or protein. Your body needs fat to absorb vitamins, protect organs, and maintain body temperature. Without enough dietary fat, you will deteriorate much faster than most people expect. A standard jar of peanut butter costs between $3 and $5 and contains about 15 servings. Unopened, it lasts 1 to 2 years on the shelf without any special storage. That is not as long as rice or beans, but it fills a nutritional gap that those foods cannot cover on their own. I rotate peanut butter in my pantry constantly. I buy the store brand from Walmart or Aldi, I check the expiration dates, and I make sure I always have at least 10 jars on hand. My kids eat it regularly, so it never goes to waste. That is the beauty of peanut butter. It is not some weird survival food you have to force yourself to eat. It is something you already use. Stock up on at least 10 jars per person. Keep them in a cool, dark place. Use the oldest jars first and replace them when you shop. This simple rotation system means you always have a deep supply without anything expiring on you. If you are allergic to peanuts, sunflower seed butter, or almond butter work as substitutes. They cost a little more, but they fill the same role. Your body will thank you for having this on hand. Trust me on that. Item number 6. Honey. There is a reason honey has been found in Egyptian tombs that is still perfectly edible after 3,000 years. Honey does not spoil. It is one of the only foods on Earth with a truly indefinite shelf life. And beyond just lasting forever, it serves multiple survival functions that make it one of the most valuable items in any food storage plan. Honey is a dense source of quick energy. It is roughly 60 calories per tablespoon, all from natural sugars that your body can absorb almost immediately. When you are exhausted, when your blood sugar is crashing, when you need to push through a physically demanding task, a spoonful of honey can bring you back faster than almost anything else. But honey also has antimicrobial properties. It has been used for centuries to treat wounds, burns, and infections. Raw honey contains hydrogen peroxide and other compounds that inhibit bacterial growth. In a scenario where medical supplies are limited, having honey on hand is not just a food advantage, it is a medical one. I keep about 15 pounds of honey in my storage. I buy it in bulk from local beekeepers when I can, and from Costco when I cannot. The price has gone up noticeably in the last year. A 5-pound jug that used to cost $12 is now closer to $18. That trend is not reversing anytime soon because bee populations continue to face pressure from pesticides and habitat loss. Buy honey now while it is still affordable. Store it in its original container or transfer it to glass jars. If it crystallizes, that is completely normal. Just warm it gently and it liquefies again. There is no need for any special storage equipment. Just keep it sealed and it will outlast you. Honey is quiet power. Most people walk right past it. Do not be most people. Item number 7, powdered milk. This is the one I told you about at the beginning. This is the item that most people completely overlook, and it might be the most important thing on this entire list. Let me explain why. In a long-term survival situation, one of the first nutritional deficiencies that hits people is calcium, and right behind that is a lack of complete protein from animal sources. Fresh milk obviously spoils within days. Cheese requires refrigeration. Yogurt is even more fragile. But powdered milk, specifically non-fat dry milk, lasts 20 to 25 years when stored properly. And it delivers calcium, protein, vitamin D, and a range of B vitamins that are extremely difficult to get from plant-based survival foods alone. This is especially critical if you have children, pregnant women, or elderly people in your household. Calcium deficiency leads to weakened bones, dental problems, muscle cramps, and long-term skeletal deterioration. In a survival scenario lasting more than a few months, these issues become serious and potentially debilitating. I did not fully appreciate this until I sat down and mapped out the nutritional gaps in my own food storage plan. I had rice, I had beans, I had oats. I thought I was covered. Then I ran the numbers on calcium and realized I was getting less than 30% of what my family would need per day. Powdered milk closed that gap completely. A standard box of non-fat dry milk from the grocery store makes about 20 quarts and costs around $12 to $15. You can also buy it in number 10 cans from emergency food suppliers, which extends the shelf life even further. I keep both. The grocery store boxes go into my rotation for everyday use. The sealed cans go into long-term storage. Here is what you should do. Buy at least 10 to 15 pounds of powdered milk per person for long-term storage. Repackage it into Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers if you are buying the grocery store version, and start using it now in recipes so your family gets used to the taste. Mix it into oatmeal, use it in baking, add it to soups. The more familiar it is, the less resistance you will face if you ever actually need to rely on it. Nobody talks about powdered milk, nobody thinks it is exciting, but when you understand the nutritional math, you realize it might be the single most important gap filler in your entire plan. Do not skip this one, please. Item number 8, canned meat. Everything we have covered so far leans heavily toward carbohydrates, fats, and plant-based protein. That works. You can survive on it. But if you want to maintain muscle mass, energy levels, and mental sharpness over weeks and months, you need dense animal protein. And the most shelf-stable, affordable, and practical way to store animal protein is canned meat. Canned chicken, canned tuna, canned salmon, canned beef, and yes, even Spam. These are survival staples that have kept soldiers, sailors, and disaster survivors fed for over a century. A single can of chicken breast from Costco gives you about 40 grams of protein and costs around $3. Canned tuna is even cheaper. A standard can runs about $1.50 and gives you 25 grams of protein. The shelf life on commercially canned meat is officially 2 to 5 years, but in reality it lasts much longer if the can is undamaged and stored in a cool environment. I have personally eaten canned tuna that was 3 years past its printed date, and it was perfectly fine. The key is checking for bulging, rust, or dents along the seams. If the can looks good and was stored properly, the food inside is almost certainly safe. I keep a dedicated shelf in my storage area just for canned meat. Right now I have about 60 cans across different types: chicken, tuna, salmon, and a few cans of Spam for variety. The total cost was under $150, and it represents hundreds of servings of high-quality protein. Start building your canned meat supply now. Buy a few extra cans every time you shop. Focus on chicken and tuna for the best price-to-protein ratio. Watch for sales at Walmart, Aldi, and Costco. And rotate your stock so nothing sits too long. This is the protein backbone of your survival pantry. Without it, everything else works harder than it needs to. Item number 9. Cooking oil. Here is something that surprises a lot of people when they first hear it. In a true survival scenario, the thing most likely to kill you is not starvation from lack of food. It is caloric deficit, meaning you are eating, but you are not eating enough calories to sustain your body's energy needs. And the fastest way to close a caloric gap is fat, pure dietary fat. 1 tablespoon of cooking oil contains about 120 calories. That is more calorie dense than any other food category per unit of volume. You can add a tablespoon of oil to rice, beans, oats, or any other meal, and instantly boost its caloric value by a meaningful amount. Over the course of a day, that adds up to the difference between maintaining your weight and slowly wasting away. Coconut oil is the best option for long-term storage because it has a shelf life of 2 or more years, even without refrigeration, and it resists rancidity better than most other oils due to its high saturated fat content. Olive oil is a solid second choice. Vegetable oil and canola oil work, but they go rancid faster, usually within a year of opening. I keep about 5 liters of coconut oil and 3 liters of olive oil in my storage. I bought the coconut oil in bulk from Costco and the olive oil from a local discount grocery store. Total cost was under $40. That is thousands of extra calories sitting on my shelf waiting to be used. Buy at least 2 to 3 liters of cooking oil per person. Prioritize coconut oil for storage and olive oil for rotation. Keep them sealed, cool, and away from light. And remember, oil is not just for cooking. It can be used to season cast iron, treat dry skin, and even fuel a simple emergency lamp in a pinch. This is one of those items that weighs almost nothing in your budget, but carries enormous weight in your survival plan. Item number 10. Multivitamins. This is the last item on the list, and I saved it for last because it ties everything together in a way that most people never think about. You can have all the rice, beans, oats, and canned meat in the world, but if you are eating the same limited rotation of foods for weeks or months, you are going to develop micronutrient deficiencies. Vitamin C deficiency leads to scurvy. Vitamin A deficiency affects your vision and immune function. Iron deficiency causes fatigue and cognitive decline. These are not theoretical problems. These are documented outcomes from every prolonged food crisis in modern history. A simple daily multivitamin acts as nutritional insurance. It fills the gaps that your survival diet cannot cover. It keeps your immune system functional. It supports your energy levels and mental clarity. And it costs almost nothing. A bottle of 365 multivitamins from a store brand like Kirkland or Equate costs between $10 and $15. That is a full year of nutritional backup for the price of 2 fast food meals. The shelf life on most multivitamins is 2 to 3 years past the manufacture date, and they remain effective well beyond that even if potency decreases slightly. I keep 3 bottles in my storage at all times. 1 for current use, 2 sealed for long-term. I also keep a separate bottle of vitamin C tablets, because that is the deficiency most likely to cause problems in a limited diet. A bottle of 500 vitamin C tablets costs about $8 and lasts over a year. Buy at least 1 year's supply of multivitamins per person. Store them in a cool, dry place. Do not refrigerate them, and make sure you are taking 1 daily right now, not just saving them for an emergency. Your health today is the foundation of your resilience tomorrow. This is the item that turns a survival pantry from a calorie stockpile into a complete nutrition system. Do not skip it. Now let me pull all of this together because I think the bigger picture matters even more than the individual items. What you just heard is not a random list, it is a system. Rice and beans give you complete protein and massive calorie coverage at almost no cost. Oats give you versatile energy and fiber. Salt preserves your food and keeps your body functioning. Peanut butter delivers dense fat and protein. Honey provides quick energy, natural preservation, and medical backup. Powdered milk fills the critical calcium and vitamin gap. Canned meat gives you animal protein for muscle and brain function. Cooking oil boosts every meal's caloric value, and multivitamins seal the nutritional cracks that a limited diet always creates. 10 foods. That is it. You do not need a bunker full of freeze-dried lasagna. You do not need to spend thousands of dollars on some prepper company's premium survival kit. You need 10 simple, affordable, available right now foods that work together as a complete system. And here is the part that should motivate you more than anything else. Every single item on this list is available at your local Walmart, Costco, Aldi, or Amazon right now. Today, you could build a 3-month supply for a family of 4 for under $500 if you shop smart and buy in bulk. That is less than most people spend on eating out in a single month. But here is what worries me. Prices on almost every item I just mentioned have gone up in the last year. Rice is up, beans are up, cooking oil is up, canned meat is up, honey is up. The trend is not slowing down, and when the next supply chain disruption hits, whether it is weather, trade policy, conflict, or something nobody sees coming, the people who prepared will eat well, and the people who did not will be standing in lines wondering what happened. I am not trying to scare you. I am trying to give you the information you need to make a smart decision before the window closes. Most people will not do anything with this information. They will watch this video, nod along, and then go back to scrolling. But you are not most people. You are here because you think differently. You plan ahead. You protect your family. So here is what I want you to do right now. Pick 3 items from this list. Just 3. Go buy them this week. Start small. Build from there. Every jar of peanut butter, every bag of rice, every can of chicken you add to your shelf is another day of security for the people you love. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button. I mean it. I put out content like this every week because I believe regular people deserve access to the same information that the prepared and the wealthy already have. You should not have to pay some guru $500 to learn what I just told you for free. Leave a comment and tell me which item on this list surprised you the most. I read every single comment and I use your feedback to make the next video even better. Share this with someone you care about. Send it to your brother, your neighbor, your best friend. The more people who are prepared, the stronger all of our communities become. Thank you for watching, thank you for thinking ahead, and I will see you in the next one.